Hey you everybody. Let's fire off the jump here. No wasting time. So Fidelity did update their format, which I think is really nice. It will help with a few things for sure. Let's take a look at some of the names here. Let's look at the indices first. See if there's anything here on the 4 hour on the NASDAQ. So just bouncing here. Same with SPY. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Or sorry, QQQ. Yesterday we did have a bear break. It was kind of a weird day. Because you had the daily trend change. Now you're looking for the monthly. Now you're just looking for the monthly consolidation to start. So, I mean, that was a big level there. I think I'm just going to get rid of that level. I mean, like, I mean, bulls do want to turn support into resistance. We'll see if there's anything on the hourly. But as of right now, the bulls legit they would need to change the trend back for the bulls. The bears control the trend. So we have an inside bar here. Sorry, we have a lower low, and on the open so far, we have an open above the prior day close, which is a good sign for bulls as we're not gapping down or doing anything nuts. And we can see on looks like we're EQing here. A little bit of an EQ to start the day, potentially. Some of the big levels, let's find some of the big levels. Obviously, we're still talking about up here. This was the higher high structure, higher high that had a little bit of trouble with, got back over, big fight here. Um, and then obviously there's some support down here we talked about. And zooming into maybe some other support resistance levels. Yeah, they're kind of hard to find here. I mean, obviously we have like the prior day high, the prior day low, um, which is fine. And once you get past that, you're kind of still on the same wavelength as where does price want to go? They want to come down here, they want to go up here, because just ignore all this pre-market stuff here. It was all just straight down. So you had this little bounce here, but for the most part, if we break to the upside, there's a pretty good chance that if we break and hold to the upside, there's a good chance that we come back and try to test this, this node area here and all that fun stuff. So I think that this pretty much stays the same here. Um, I would be guessing for sure that there would be bears looking to short up here, because not only are you, eh, no, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of resistance here. You had this hourly bounce. You had a lot of resistance here. It took forever for the pullback to happen here, um, and then you have a lower high. But this this was interesting because it started to almost feel like the Bulls were gonna step in here and try to, make a move, but ended up not really being the case there. You just saw all the wicks here. You had the wicks here, the bear break with no follow through, and then a bounce, and then another lower low with no follow through, then a big move up, and then more issues here. I mean, I think that was enough to potentially go short on the day. Um, I tried a little bit on the video, but it was just some scalps and it wasn't great. At least in the afternoon. Morning was better. And then we kind of just break down to this level here, a little bit of pre-market action, and we're back up here. So yeah, today might be an interesting day where we start to tighten up. We have our pre-market highs, our pre-market lows, and whatever side breaks, then the next destination will be the prior day highs and lows. If that breaks, then we have our support levels at like 652.80, and then up here at that area too. So it seems like it's more lucrative for bulls, as there's more upside, at least for the short term. But I do think that there is something to understanding that we have the daily downtrend, bears are in control, and this could be the first time we get monthly consolidation in a while, which could lead to a really um, big day because there could be a lot of people who got in on this candle, who got in maybe down here on this wick, who got in on the bull break here, that have rode this baby up, and also people from maybe even down here that are just looking for the trend change. We finally hit that 700, 7,000 on SPY ish, and just looking for monthly consolidation. And then I'm out. I'm done. See you later. They could also be holding until EMA 12 as well, if that breaks. But it is a stair step. That's the key. It's a stair step. So there will be some people looking to get out on a break of that level with a little bit of follow through. The one thing that's a bit alarming is that like the weekly, usually when it comes to um, these time frames, you usually want the lower time frames in the downtrend. Um, but I guess it doesn't matter too much because it's not like the monthly is going to be in a downtrend. So the weekly can pull back significantly, but in order to get, it's going to be one of those situations where it's like even if we break down with the weekly, in order to get a significant monthly consolidation, we're going to need the weekly lower high, lower low at some point. That would be for significant monthly consolidation. That has nothing to do with just starting the consolidation. But the first step in monthly consolidation is the loss of the daily trend, which step one has happened. It happened yesterday on SPY. So let's check out QQQ. So it's hard not to lean bearish. And it makes sense that like getting back over this level, you have this bull break here over this higher high, then you fall back into this zone. You're in just a zony area here. Um, and as a bull, like it's kind of going to be tough to want to be bullish again until you can like get back over this level, right? Because you're kind of just in a zone and the bears are kind of in control. So it seems like you know, uh, you're kayaking against the current at this point in a lot of different ways, which is why I probably should have just hammered the short a little bit better at the end of the day. Um, but once it started trading. It literally was in a 15-minute range for like so long. One, two, three, four. That's 1 hour. That's 2 hours. It's 2.5 hours of sideways range just to get this little move. I was done. I was done waiting around. All right, so we have the inside bar. Sorry, no. Jeez, I keep on saying inside bar. We have the lower low. We have the inside bar bear break here. You have price of opening right at the prior day. Oh no, yesterday's open, and I'm assuming the hourly is going to look very similar. Yes. So it looks like we're just kind of EQing inside of this daily uh, volume profile range, which makes sense. And we're actually doing it right around the POC. So just tightening up here. Bears looking for a lower high compared to the high of the day, a high of yesterday. Bulls looking to punch the ticket. Most likely scenario is going to be a lower high compared to the highs here. Tighten up inside of this range. I think that momentum leans towards the bears on any hourly EQ bear break. I think that you got to say bears. If you're going to pick a side, you'd want to pick the bears, at least for now. So let's see what other stocks are trading within inside an hourly range. Oh, Google was strong again. Damn you, Google. I was admittedly a little bit gun shy yesterday with some names um, because they were longs, and I just wasn't really sure that I was comfortable going along there. But here is one right here, which is a break and retest of this hourly level right here. And the way this trade should have looked is you got the bull break with volume, so check mark. You get the slow pullback with low volume, check mark. You don't want your stop going under here, so you're not really looking for a position entry here, right? You're looking for an entry off of this zone here. So you're looking for some sort of reaction here, and then sticking your stop underneath this level here. Now, once again, if you were looking to play off of the low here, you could start scaling in right here. You get at least one fill, maybe one here, yada yada. But the play was to play off of this, and you get like this reaction here. So the trade should have looked something like you get this wick. That's enough. You don't need to see the higher high because like here's the thing. I sometimes wait for like the close over the EMA 12. Or the higher high, like the break of the stair step, even though this isn't a stair step, which I'll do the stair step thing, but the close over the higher high. Sometimes you're sacrificing the fact that it might just close way up here, like a 5 minute candle close way up there, and then you don't want to put all that risk in. Um, and then also you get things like this where you get the close over the EMA, and then you're not sure because of the candle formation, and then it comes down anyways. So it's a situation where it's like you get your reaction, which is fine right there. You put your stop underneath here with the buffer. You could use your ATR buffer, and then there you go. And then you're looking to get back to the highs. And then if you get back to the highs, and you're looking to get to the high of day, and then the high of pre-market. So boom, there you go. There's your 3.6 to 1. I actually went short here. I actually went short up here on a 2 minute candle. Yeah. And I didn't hold it as long as I wanted to, that's for sure. But the stair step up. I saw this volume climax. So I saw the volume climax. I said, let me get the stair step. Boom. And so on and so forth. But now you see that we've rejected off this level again. This is telling us that this level is huge, big, big level for Google here. And I just don't think that, I don't know if we'll even get back there today. Google is looking mighty strong. Filled the gap, closing back over the EMA, gapping up. The only issue I have with Google is that, and you could see we had this hourly equal EQ, the same thing here. Um, only thing I have the only issue I have with Google is that if QQQ can't get going, Google's not gonna have much steam. But so far, Google is the lead bull here on the day. If you're looking bullish, we've got Meta up a little bit. I can't, I'm so close to making a Meta position here. I'm admittedly a little bit nervous about it because I know it's a little bit of FOMO and fear. It's a little bit of fear of missing out. Um, because I'm looking at the daily and I'm saying to myself, like we're below all the EMAs here or all the moving averages here, which is a very bad sign, right? But again, we've talked about this before. Monthly high or low, weekly um man array completed here. Okay, so that's two long-term areas of like, okay, if you're short, you might be taking off. If you're long, you might start looking for position. If you took this weekly level this weekly trade, you're probably looking to get out of the position. So we have reasons of why bulls might be getting in and bears might be getting out. Now we're just looking for the the move, right? Like the bulls showing up here, and we can and at first I was saying my thesis was, hey, this is a bear break here, right here with no follow through, right? You had the bear break here into a big move up. You got to close back over this level. So I was looking for a break of this high on this day, and it never happened. So I didn't get in. Now I go to the hourly and I see what looks like. Oh, my apologies. I don't like. I actually I had another small stop out yesterday with using these trend lines. Um, so then, yeah, I have to stop using them. They should be good guides, but this one is just a little bit too clean. But you can see you have a touch here, you have a touch here, you have a touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Bear break into the no follow through. Okay. So now you have this, all these theses, right? You have this monthly higher low, you have the extended move with the weekly. Now you're looking for bear exhaustion. You're looking for bulls to step in. So this is a descending wedge that's usually a bear exhaustion pattern. Okay, I guess you can maybe call it a channel, but here is your bear break of this pattern on the hourly. This is your big move up, and now looking for bulls to take over here. So this is now all considered just weak bears, weak, tired bears. And if this level breaks, then I want nothing to do with this trade. But the fact of the matter is that now it gives me an idea of going long here. You know what I mean? It's giving me a lot of what I want to see from now the hourly. But then again, you look at the daily and you're like, Jesus, what are you thinking, dude? Like, where's your target, bro? Right? Is it the EMA 12 that seems to just be like suppressing price here? That is going to be a hole in the wall for sure, a thorn in our side. You know, is it going to be this last little rinky dinky lower high? That's not really too worrisome. But I do have to stay true to, myself and say, hey, this is a lower high, lower low. This is the highest price the bulls can push. This is definitely a zone of interest here. That's definitely a zone. There's no doubt about it. And if you can get past this, then you can get to the highs here into the gap fill, etc. But I mean, there is a case where, you get here, you bring back up here, maybe get here, maybe come down here, and maybe come back up here. And then there's your huge win. So yeah, where are we opening compared to QQQ? We are opening right about exactly the same. And the other issue is if the market doesn't bounce, this thing isn't going to get going unless there's news. Unless there's a news catalyst or something behind it, this thing is just not going to bounce without the market helping it out. So that's a big deal too. That's kind of a tough spot in my own mind as well. Tesla here, interesting. Tesla's in an interesting spot here. I want to really take a look at Tesla. Ah, shit. I'm going to have to remap that level. Tesla opening like everybody else. Let's go down to the hourly. So right here, this is the furthest they could push down. Oh no, yeah, I mean there's clearly a level here. You could see that we had the bounce here, the retest here, the bounce here. So this was definitely a zone. The way I created it was getting the close and then the low. Um, and once again, one of the resistance, it's clear multiple touches of a level. Okay, that's clearly multiple touches off of a level right here. One, two, hold here, three, four. The highest close after significant pullback, we just did that one, or lowest close after. So those are like the three. And then obviously you have your sideways institutional buying, which is more of a volume profile thing. So this is kind of what I was worried about, which was this is the play that I wanted to happen today, and now it's kind of out of my hands, which kind of sucks. Where I was hoping we can get a retest of this level because we definitely had a bear break here with no follow through, which was a lot of what I was thinking. For whatever reason, I just had this weird feeling that Tesla was going to stop everybody out and then it was going to go nuts and complete its monthly cup and handle. And you could see here on the 5 minute, after the relative weakness here, you had this nice little 5 minute rising channel, rising wedge, whatever. It broke bear. So if you waited patiently for all of this to get under this level here, then you look for this lower high, you end up getting absolutely like whipsawed because not only do you get stopped out if you're scaling in here, you get stopped out here, then maybe you jump back in and then you get stopped out again. So, and you could see that there was a lot of shorts here. So if you were patient, and this used to be me a lot, being super patient, and then this happens, and this shouldn't have, honestly shouldn't have happened. Like the way the market was being bearish, this very easily could have broken bear and then been a big, big day for bears. But then you get this move up. I was like finger on the trigger right here long, and I just could not pull the fucking trigger. Could not pull it off because I just didn't know. I just felt like going long in yesterday's market was pretty gross, even though my gut was screaming at me. And now we're in a situation where um, I wouldn't have held. I wouldn't have held. I would have probably sold that over here or something. Um, but now we are bouncing off of this, and we are have a nice reaction off of this level, a really nice reaction off this level, which is again proving that this is a very important level. Now to the upside, we have this reaction off of this low level here too. So this high of yesterday is a very important level. Once again, we have the high of yesterday that rejected very viciously off of that level. We get back there again with some bull volume here and just get absolutely rejected. So there is definitely a lot going on up here as well. So it's a battle. It's a battle between this range and this range. And if you can get back into this range, what is this purple range for me? This purple range for me is what it goes way back to here. It was the highs of this move. Bull break with no follow through off the high. So this is the all-time high, but this is the highs of the move from here. It's kind of hard to put it in. I don't want too wide of a stop. So this one's kind of tricky. I might have gone to the weekly to kind of to make it a little bit more clear. Yeah, okay. So I grabbed it on the weekly. You could see that I grabbed it on the weekly and then I did the close up to the high there. Still actually a little bit. Yeah, I don't love it. Maybe I'll clean it up a little bit here. And maybe I'll purple it up. So you can see that we got over it here, higher low off the level, failure, all this chop fast, and then finally the lower high, lower low off of that level. So this is definitely a key level here. I can probably erase this now. And you can see that we were bouncing off this level, holding, holding, holding. How do you not look bullish there? Higher low, higher high, boom, into a big pullback, trapping all the bears or bulls trying to go for the big home run, and then stops everybody out here, and then everybody who was getting long here, you stop everybody out. Big level to break here. This should be a very easy spot to look for that daily lower high off of that level, right? With your stop potentially being, I don't know. I mean, this weekly candle did break, so you could probably find comfort above the weekly candle. You could also put it slightly above the moving averages. But it's a spot here now where you have that lower high. Here's your lower low. Okay, yesterday, there was your lower low yesterday off that hourly level with no follow through. So now what? So now if you break this level again, we're coming back up here and we're probably going to go ahead and test a 423.96, which is called 424. So there's a situation here where we can very easily come here, hit this bullish, potentially break this, run into these moving averages, and then get the rejection, right? You see that a lot, where it's like the market likes to fake out the first people to the party, even though the whole saying is first test is best test, which is true because there's going to be the most eyes on it. I think that's why they say that. Most eyes are going to be on it. First test, best test, and you know, once it's kind of like going to see like some like a big event, and then they host event the second time around, and usually the second time around is less people because there's less excitement. So it's like the same thing here, a lot of excitement here, bears get no follow through, bad taste in their mouth. So now sometimes the old saying I like, which is get the stop the most if you're looking bearish. When I see these check marks, it gives me a little bit more confidence of when it starts going in the direction I want, which is stop out the most aggressive. Let's say I'm going bear here. Stop out the most aggressive bears, which would be here, right? This little lower high, lower low after a bear break. I guess these you can make a case these are the most aggressive bears, but I'm talking about after the break. The most obvious, okay, this is going to be an easy trade. Stop out those bears. All eyes on there, all eyes on the trade. Stop those bears out. Then what you want to do is you want to lure the bulls into the trade. You want to start making them believe that, whoa, the bears got no follow through. They're tired. Now it's our turn. So it's a spot where then you start to learn the bulls, which would be after this break with no follow through, which would be a break above this level here and looking to get to maybe the highs. And it would be a bull break here into no follow through. Then if you get the pullback here again, that's the trade. That would be the trade. So you get the stop out the aggressive, the eager bears, stop out the new confident bulls, and then hit the short. Um, that usually turns into a nice trade. And then if it doesn't work from there, then it's just chop and you're just done. Don't even look at it anymore. But daily inside bar on Tesla. Oh no, no, not inside bar. Sorry. We are opening towards the high of the range, just like everything else. And we are not. Oh no, it's still a daily. It's an hourly Q, so it's still kind of holding true with the market. I just think that this weekly level here is a big deal, and I think the high of pre-market's a big deal. And Tesla's one of those names that could do their own thing. I'm open. I don't know if we're going to come back down here. Like we might get an hourly high or low, but I'm open to a Tesla long to the highs there. And that trade would either look something like looking for the hourly high or low on the morning, and then looking to get the bull break, maybe taking some off here. Still not a big fan of it, but I probably have to do it because I still have problems with holding on to positions. Um, but you get the bull break here, and then something like that. That's the textbook. That's textbook bullshit. Is that little bounce and retest? But you have the bull volume and then the slow, tedious pullback. It's nice. If it's around like if it's after 11, and this is on a 5-minute chart, you might get something like this, where then it's a 15-minute high or low. So anything after 11, I usually look for the 15-minute high or low. Anything before that, I look for a potential quick 5-minute high or low. So Tesla, look at the weakness on Amazon still. Wow. So Amazon was interesting if you're watching it, you're looking for the play off of the moving average here. Maybe a little bit hesitant to go short right off the jump, but you get this bounce here. And then once you cross back under the open, then you can just hit the short and then put your stop above the high. It's aggressive, but clear weakness here. Where does it? I mean, where is the next destination here? I mean, if you're in Amazon, you're pretty pissed off because it is a spot here where, and you know what? I'm actually pretty bummed out about this one because if we go back and watch some of my older videos, I was actually looking short off of this level here. And you can see it kind of did the same exact thing. It did exactly what I prevented myself from seeing at the point of time because the market was still sort of bullish. But you could see that we had this inside range here. You get the bull break here with a big move down. You can see I have the eyes here. So I was looking for a short on this day, and I just wasn't sure. Um, I just get kind of stuck in the position of do I want to scale in or do I want to just kind of sniper the trade? And on these, I should be scaling in, and I should have just gotten a scale, and then have a nice little buffer, which I still would have stayed in, I believe, at least for this one. But here's the thing: you get this big move up, right? Initial bears are here. Boom, there's your initial bears. Then you start to chop around here, and what ends up happening? Then you get the bull break here, which does what? Which gets bulls excited, right? Because you have this hourly high or low, you're chopping sideways, you're slowly moving up. Here's your bull break, get the bulls in here, looking to get up here. No follow through, big pushed back. So at this point, on a day like this, then you're saying to yourself, okay, I want to look short here. It just doesn't come back here. It just doesn't come back. But if you're looking for, if you're saying, okay, the bears, um, you know, the eager bears got stopped out. I'm looking for the bull break here with no follow through. If you get the bull break here, no follow through, you see this candle. You can see it actually does this little retest right here, though. You can get in. Like you could, I mean, is it crazy to have a stop that wide? I mean, it feels like it because if you get down to here, then you're like, yuck. You have to, you might want to sell at this weekly level there. But if you hold it like a sicko, not too bad. Kind of a wide stop here, because it's not really a position entry. It's more of a sniper entry because you are looking for the bull break with no follow through. You get the big candle. So yeah, unfortunately, your stop does have to go above that level, I would say. Anywho, so yeah, you got to look for that sometimes. And that's also why selling half is important too, because if you get in here and you sell partial, you have yourself a risk-free trade or something like that. You get stopped out. It's not the end of the world. Or you have a half position, you're looking for this play. You got to be looking for it. So it's the eager. All eyes are on this. Eager doesn't work. Sometimes it does work. Sometimes it's people are eager and they get it and it works. Works real nice. Other times it doesn't, and then you can look for that, or you just and then you also risk missing the bull move there too, right? If you're always looking for the fake out. The key is if that move gets followed through with no pullback, you need to see the pullback. If that gets no pullback after the bull break, then it's a bull move, and you can just potentially buy the higher low. Um. So yeah, Amazon definitely the weakest here. It is at a weird support level here. Very weak close, and you have this volume node here of all this stuff. But if we're talking real support, like, because usually people aren't interested in a break of, you get the break of the structure and then things are weak, then they're not looking to capitalize on the prior highs of a range. They're looking to capitalize on actual real support where you could guarantee that there's bodies there. And I think that real support is down here on the weekly time frame again. We talked about it. Bull break back into the range. Wants to come all the way back down to the low here. So this is just on a bigger scale, so it looks worse. But it really is just, this was the range. There was the bear break. Here was the back test. Try to get the follow through. Failed, and then we're going down. So the key to this trade is to realize that, like, this is a range here, and I made and I have to do a better job of this, but understanding that this is a range here. I mean, you could just end up moving it right here. Understanding that this is a range here is key, because then you zoom in and you say to yourself, "Oh, these moving averages. Oh my lord, what am I going to do?" And you say to yourself, "Okay, well, here's your back test, high or low. Here's your breakdown below. Here's your attempt to get back out. Failure, failure." And the moving averages it looked like it wanted to play a role here, but because it's a sideways range, it could have just been a fake. This could have just been a fake out type of candle. Get some more bulls to go along that don't understand the fact that moving averages work way less inside of a range. So here's your range on the weekly, and you just get the stair step back down. I think that there will be if we don't get down here, which it looks like we're going to, you might get a bounce somewhere just to make it a little bit tricky. I'm sure bears who are in this trade are looking to potentially sell bear breaks with no follow through. But I think the ultimate goal is down here. And I think if it stair steps down to that level, I think you can get a nice little small little move out of that. It's aggressive because you're buying the bottom of a trend, but if it's stair stepping down and everything is really extended, I think it's a fine play. Nvidia not touching this today. Earnings are tonight. Just not looking at it, not bothering. Microsoft is another one here under all. It's got the 200-day still supporting it. This was clearly a level that I liked of interest. Why? Well, because it had this little sideways range here that held here, and then you came back here, you held again. So yada yada yada. Um, and then you had the bear break here with no follow through. I mean, you could even just instead of a you know a level of interest here, you could just. I think this probably makes a better case. Kind of a gatekeeper instead. So there you go. And that looks like it makes more sense, right? Trying to hold the value area high, try to hold the POC. So that's why scaling into this, it's not that big of a range, but that's why scaling into this is probably important because if you're trying to do this and do this and then think that this is the one that's going to work, like you're probably not going to make the move. And that's I found myself in that. And then I'm like, oh, how did I not get to that move? I hit right off the level as well because I'm trying to go long here, get stopped out, trying to go long here, get stopped out, try to go and not even look to get long here because look at this candle. Inside bar, open, failure, bear break, failure, inside bar, and then gap up. And it's like, okay, now what am I doing? How do you go along here with your stop need to be like somewhere around here? And it's not even the same trade anymore. So yeah, that just gives me flashbacks there, boy. Oof. So yeah, this is more of like a position trade. And then you look to get to that. The hard part is that like you say you bounce off of here, then where do you look to get to? And I, geez, I mean, I guess that you want to look for the most valuable price action, which is, I guess, this lower low here with no follow through. I mean, lower low here, maybe. Maybe it's this guy right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this zone right here. This little zone right here. That's always a tough question because you always want to say, oh, maybe the highs, but maybe this zone here, this volume node here. Which let's see if that's even you know, viable. So let's say you get in one scale here, one scale here. You want your stop near the buffer, and you want to get to that volume node up here. Okay, so you almost get a 3-to-1 there. Just takes a while. As for today, this is a weekly level. Sorry, a daily level here. Let's go to the hourly. Let's see if there's anything on the hourly that we can scope out. It does kind of have this EQ here, just like the rest of the market. It's just not looking as good unless the market has changed. Let me see. No, I mean we did set the lower high, but this one is definitely weaker. The high of the bounce was here. I mean, this is a tough trade. I find these to be very tough trades. These trades are probably better off of that, something like that, and then down. Because in reality, the way that Lamont does this from Chart Guys is he'll double this up and he'll basically say, if it doesn't get at least that much follow through, then it's not worthy of a back test type of play. So this one is like right on the borderline. Right on the borderline. Where you can potentially be using this value area low here as a sort of a buffer, right? So if we open here, if we open, we shoot up, reject, there's your aggressive entry, looking to get down to the lows of the day. So there's that. You can do the same thing if it's at the POC. And yesterday you can see that it opened here, shot up, came back down. So let's zoom into what it did yesterday here. So yesterday it opened right at the POC, which, once again, you don't want to be that bearish until this level is cracked. And it wasn't cracked until yesterday. So if his price is sitting here, it's hard to be ultimately bearish, but you get this shot up and then get this push back down. You could potentially look for the aggressive sell there with the stop up there, which is crazy, or you could wait for the little lower high. So let's see if we get a 5 minute lower high off of that range there. So you get a big move up over the POC, reject off the value area low. You could potentially look for a higher low off this level, but we knew the Q wasn't looking too strong, so not great. Then you get the pullback here, back to the value area low. When I see candles like this, I just don't. If I don't have a limit order and I see a candle like that, I just don't chase it. I used to chase this and be like, oh, that's the move. Now it's definitely going to go down. There's too many times where it's not the move. Um, so I think it's a spot here where you look for the lower high here. You ignore this. You look for the lower high here, and it's a little bit tough because this is the opening. It gets back over the open here, close back over the open, um, and it's still only 10 o'clock. So you still want your stop. You would like you'd want your stop up here. You really would. I have to do better at being a savage in the sense where it's like I know my stop is going to be here, like up here with a buffer. So I have a zone, like I have an idea of where I want to get to. So let's say I want 2 to 1 on this trade and I want my stop to be above this zone here with a little bit of wiggle room. Okay. And then I want my 2 to 1, call it right here, whatever, 1.8 to 1. Like if I want to be a savage here, knowing that this is the level I want to play off of, um, you just need to be a little bit more in tune with what you're doing, right? So it's like you ignore this candle, and this is the hard part of trading. It really is. So once it breaks down below, you have two levels that are important, right? You have the POC of this range, the high of day, and the open. So if you're looking for an aggressive entry, and you don't want yourself to go up there, Because if you only stop to go in here, you want to start scaling in, but probably not. Maybe one at the open, one at the POC, and one up here, and then you have your stop up there, right? Something like that. Um, but in reality, I probably wouldn't put one in until like one here and then one there. So I probably wouldn't even have got a fill if I was to like scale in there. But one thing you can do, which is very hard, here's your open. You keep an eye on that. So you ignore this. You're watching the 5 minute chart. You get to close over the level here. Well, and here's the thing too. Like, so many traders don't talk about this ever, 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 ever. But if you're looking for a back test of the open here, like you have the back test here. Look at this candle. It opens here and it shoots down. Right? It's hard not to want to get into that. Like those are those quick plays that I used to always try to get into that would kill me. That a lot of traders do get into, but the thing is that they'll get in here, sell half on this 1 minute candle, and then maybe stop out. And it's like, who the hell has time for that? Right? Like that's just crazy. So that's what makes it hard trading inside of these because you have your ideas of what you want to what you want to see, but um, it becomes somewhat what of an issue trading inside of the range here. Like so maybe not, right? Maybe don't try to get unless it comes to you, right? Unless you see the hit here and then you see a candle that looks nice and you get the break and then you can just stick your stop over there. Like you don't have to hit every trade. I have to get better at that too because I could say, oh, when you see this and you see the close, no, like because this would have been the back test of the open. So I'm not going to play that game. Not going to play that game. The easier trade is right here. Okay, you get the bull break, you get the bear break. It's still kind of a fight inside of this range. Bears win. Here's your lower high. It's a nice little stair step all the way up to this level, to the valley area low, which we knew was a big level here. You get your inside bar, you get your bear break. Okay, isn't that a lot easier to do? Get your bear break, put your stop above the high with a buffer, and you're not even looking to get all the way back down to the lows. Like you could be because it's off of a key level and all that stuff, but realistically, golden pocket is fine, you know. Or if you just want 2 to 1, maybe the 2 to 1 is better. Just gut it out. 2 to 1. 2 to 1 is a little bit subjective though, because if you don't get a great fill, you could be, but yeah, not the biggest trade in the world, but not the worst either. It's a win. A win's a win. You just gotta not look to always get down to the lows there. Because if we're being honest with each other, this bounces over 618. And it's confluent at this level too, right? You have the 618, you have the value area low, you have the prior price action here, you have the fact that the bear is in control, and you don't have a moving average though. But it's not the end of the world because we're not trying to do moving average snipes in the morning. Those moving average snipes are for more of 10:30 after 10:30 or even after the first half an hour. Well, oh wow, this is actually 11:30. So, oh well, oh well. So we see what happened yesterday, all this craziness. This little range here is important. We come back in here, try to hold, end of day. over it again, and now we're back under. This is Microsoft, right? So we got Microsoft here. Just another, it's the hourly EQ, just a little bit lower. I mean, there's a chance that these names break bear and get a little follow through as QQQ is approaching the lows. But if QQQ and SPY don't break their EQs bearish, then these aren't going to get follow through. So if you're going to play bearish, you want to play these names, and you probably want to play them depending on where QQQ is, right? Like if these are breaking QQQ is like slightly stronger, but not really, then no. But if QQQ still has a ways to go to the low, you could probably play the break on these. And then Apple's been kind of a nothing burger. Not really. Don't really like Apple anyways. Okay, so hourly EQs around the board. QUBT. This is one of those trades that I missed. These things move pretty fast. I actually made a short off of this one, which I don't necessarily love, but it was a quick short. And but I didn't hold on to it as long as I wanted to, and I just wasn't sure because it had relative strength, but it just looked like a pretty good setup to me, where we had this breakdown, lower high, and then we broke back under, and we had this little lower high. So I got in here, um, looking for the lower low down to here, and then I just honestly I just jumped out of position on a small win. Um, I wasn't really sure, but I do remember watching. What was it? Was it on the 15-minute? I know there was a 15-minute EQ, but there was like a 5-minute Head and Shoulders somewhere. Where was the 5-minute invert? Ah, okay. Yeah. It was a 2-minute inverse Head and Shoulders. So it got back below, back above. And so our 2-minute inverse Head and Shoulders, the market was still weak, and I'm like, ah, man, this looks like a good 2-minute Head and Shoulders, but I don't know. I didn't take it. The play would have been to take it. Actually, it closed perfectly on here, so I could have just took it here, put my stop here, and then took it up to there, which would have been the play. I just didn't. I just couldn't pull the trigger. And then we had a nice 15-minute equilibrium, lower high, lower low. This would have been a nice little bottom fish, but again, right off the POC, you get the bull break here, you get the back test of this level here in pre-market, and you're bouncing a little bit here. But again, we're just in this daily range still, and I don't really know how to feel about it. QBTS up a little bit, but nothing crazy. Not looking at those. Bitcoin is down again. Okay. Is Bitcoin an hourly EQ? Maybe a 4-hour EQ? Okay, there's something there, right? So you get this big push down, you get a lower high. I wouldn't necessarily call it EQ though. I mean, it did go to the golden pocket, so most likely scenario is a 4-hour high or low. We pulled back significantly on that too, so we're looking for a potential 4-hour bounce here on crypto. But it's really not at a level of much support. Like there's not much support here. It broke 90K with no follow through. Um, so it's an EQ that's positioned under a significant level based off of my charts. So it's going to be leaning bearish. Let's look at these names. CCJ bouncing a little bit from 80. I don't feel confident that it's going to hold that level, but we'll see. Hopefully it does. Vistra. Back testing the 200-day here. It's getting pretty sloppy for both like no follow through. They show up here. I mean, how do you even get into that trade? I have to stair step down to that level. Inside bar, bear break. There is your bull move. Stop under the low. If you want to wait for the 5 minute high or low, you start scaling in here. CG. So there's some bullish action going on. Um, MP is actually an interesting name today, huh? So it filled the gap. Oh no, it didn't fill the gap. Didn't fill the gap. Big move up on earnings. So you get this big move up on earnings, and then you maybe think that people are looking to scale in here, sticking their stop underneath the low, even though it's not at the 200-day. Right at the golden pocket. You get this inside bar, very nice setup here, but under the 200-day. Oh, sorry, under the EMA. It's a nice little squish zone though. And then you're looking for the higher high here. There's maybe a small move here. I mean, this is definitely a little bit of a range here. There's no denying that. You could see that price already did confirm that. So, I mean, you can see the same thing here. And now you're probably looking, there was probably an hourly lower high where you're looking for that trade. Never mind. Ooh, I'm thirsty. I'm out of water. Let me just. Oh, that was old water. Gross. From last night. Yuck. What are you doing, Paul? I do have a clementine here, though. Let me just rip into this bad boy if you guys don't mind. Let me put this on mute for just a second. Okay. So you could see that the POC was a level here. What if there's an hourly lower high set up there? I mean, wow. Stair step right to that level, essentially. And then you're looking for the hourly lower high, which never really happens here. It's kind of a gross lower high. Sideways ranges, which is bullish, breaks bear. And then you get your daily consolidation all the way back down to the golden pocket. Beautiful trade on the hourly chart off of a nice level here. And was it hourly? Yeah, I mean, hourly stair step, hourly RSI. There you go. So you have the institutional range, you have the hourly extension with the RSI being overbought. That's enough. But you can see how the moving average is kind of like the moving averages can sometimes just be such a fucking thorn in the side because if you're looking to go short off the moving average, maybe you're looking for the value area low at that moment, right? And then on the pullback, you may be worried that you want to sell some there. And it's like maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I I I guess you just have to be weary of the thing that AI told me once, which was, the job of the moving average is to hold price up. So once it loses it here, if it gets back above it, like it's not the end of the world. It shouldn't be looked at as a support. It should be looked at, okay, what does price do now? What they did was they fall back below it. So it's actually a pretty weak range. Oh wow, this thing just fucking went bananas. What the hell just happened? What the heck? I know there was an eight. What's at 8:30? Trade balance. Is that what that was? QQQ Inspire also going green. So this thing just shot to the fucking moon. That kind of kills a lot of what we were looking potentially for because it would have been a potentially a back test of 60/50 on the open. A gap up rules apply. So now the daily higher low is basically set here. There's your hourly trend change. Bears took that right into the value area low. But again, this level right here, the 65.50 level is an important level because it does two things here. It gives you the daily trend change, but it also gives you the break potentially it coincides with the break above the structure too. And there's a lot of traders who will say, okay, if you get the price action trend change, it's the bulls, but you still need to break this level here. So if you can get a situation where you get the price action trend plus that, you have more traders looking at this level here. And it could be one of those like nice little squeezes to the upside. And apparently it has the juice to do it because something happened with MP. So MP is going to be on the list for today, but it's going to be difficult because you do have that key level here, and you want to see a break of structure, which is right here. But the problem with that is it's right. The 50 moving average is right there. Do we have anything on the? So we're looking for. We're not looking for a weekly higher low anymore. We broke the weekly structure, and monthly consolidation is on its way. Daily got oversold. I'm surprised the back burner didn't pop up there. Definitely an interesting spot here. So we're going to put that one up top. We're going to keep on moving forward here. Let's look at the gold and silver. So gold here bounced off of this level here, which is what I thought would happen as it came straight down. Nice little move up here. There's definitely a short here. And it's pretty simplistic. You have this structure here that's based off of this structure here. Kind of a bull flag, bull break, trying to hold it, failure, come all the way back down to the next spot. Now we're coming back up here, kind of in a straight line here. Volume isn't crazy. This is all overhead. So it is a spot there where unfortunately your stop has to go somewhere up here. I think this would probably be a position trade where you scale in once here and maybe one more here, and then you put your stop above there. And honestly, the trade is pretty bananas because it's going to be a potentially weekly lower high and getting that monthly consolidation. So it'd be a weekly lower high, a quick little weekly lower high, even though technically it's a weekly bull flag, which is a little worrisome. We talked about this the other day, right? Where it's like you usually don't see, you usually see a weekly, maybe a weekly bull break with no follow through instead of just like this quick little rinky dinky weekly lower high, lower low, and then monthly consolidation starts. Maybe I'm being too optimistic with the chart. It's still holding the high of this structure here, which is key. So you broke this high, but held this high, so it's still important. If you break that down here, you're coming down here. Ugh, I've been wanting the short gold, but I don't know if it's a good play or if I just want to be right. I'm not sure. Silver, on the other hand, now that would have been a nice play. That bounce happened at a legit time here. Nope, very early. So maybe a short on gold. Oof. And then we'll just run through some of these, see if there's anything standing out. No, did that. No, no, no. AMD? How's AMD looking? AMD was a pop and drop short yesterday, looked like. Mara trying to bounce. We know that crypto is still sort of weak with the 4-hour EQ. Inside bar here. I mean, you're just looking for a daily lower high here. And you're looking for an hourly trend change. I mean, just not really something that looks good. LAC is up pre-market. Bouncing off this weekly range here. It's been kind of stuck in this range for a while, but it's finally getting out of it, which is intriguing. I'm not going to play a $5 stock. SLDP. I mean, this thing just keeps on finding its way back down here. This level is wrong. It needs to be that. And if it breaks this level here, it's going to be very interesting, very similar to Amazon, right? Where it breaks this level here and like probably wants to come down here because this is the one high. This is showing a hold. If it's not that, then it's this was the other high. Does it? Boom. So this would be the prior high. Yeah, we didn't really hold it. Hold it. No, nope. Nah. I mean, I don't like that level at all. So maybe, I mean, I guess you could put something here, but like honestly, it can go way down here. Like somewhere around here. Like just something like that, I guess. Don't really know. Pretty big range. But no, thank you. If it goes, we'll short it if it goes down that way. DE sideways. Mind mend, no. Hymns, really weak. Soundhound. How'd Soundhound do yesterday? It filled the gap and bounced. Not much. SAP still dog. Shoot. BYND at $1. Oracle. Okay, Oracle is another one we were looking at yesterday. Let's take a look at Oracle again. Oracle, an outside day. It's been about this hourly level for me. And it had this trend line here, which I fucking hate, you know? But you get the bear break here with not really a lot of volume, but it's over its expected volume, which is interesting. I like it to look more like this though. Pretty dim, pretty not really great. Not really good enough to look for an hourly high or low when you see that. That's for damn sure. And just like everything else, you have this hourly lower high. I mean, it's doing the things I like. I feel like I'm gonna fucking miss this one. I really do. I just feel like I'm not. I need somebody to this one. I'm just not comfortable trading this name. I'm not sure how I want to go about it. I should have just been scale. I should have just been um, scaling in here and then putting my stop under the low. Now it's too late for that. I get the bull break of that level, which I like. Now I get the EQ, so I get the hourly level that holds. Get the bull break of this level with the lack of volume. We got the EQ. You just don't want this. This 214.50 is the level. And then obviously then it will come down here. But at that point I just don't have a plan. Like, do I want to bottom fish this low here? Do I want to play the bull break? And where's my target? And I still have this swooping 9-day, so 12 EMA that's just absolutely swooping down. And we're in between this 9-day and this 200-day. It's looking worse and worse as I look at it because you have this swooping 9-day. Most likely scenario is a daily lower high. But for some freaking reason, yeah, I mean, maybe I just stay off of it. I mean, we have this weekly range here. Like, it's just like everything else. You have this higher high, you're hoping to hold it, you fall back into it, you're going back to the low, you get to the lows here, you have the 200-day support. So you're basically buying the low of this range, which is not great, But again, how we got down there isn't bad, right? We got down there very aggressively. So it's like that's where the bears want to take off and take a break. And it makes sense to your daily oversold. You have the 200-day. But if we're calling a spade, this was the weekly level. And that weekly level definitely broke, right? It broke here, hit the 200-day, follow through, trying to stay over that level. So you're trying to stay over that weekly level there. You hold it here. The bears hold here. So you had an inside bar here that you got to hear the bears hold the low of that, get above the high here with a lack of follow through. So again, you're paddling upstream here. The bulls are giving you what you want: a bull break with volume, sorry, a bull move with volume, inside bar, hold the bears off, break to a new high, and then you get the no follow through. So then you're like, okay, damn. Now this is why you don't trade with the trend, or you don't trade against the trend, because then you get that, and now you're like, okay, well now I'm not really sure. So I think this level is going to be important. The bull break with no follow through. This is wrong though. I mean, this is the high here should be up here. So if we can continue to tighten up, could play a bull break up to this level. Look for to get the volume overhand, and then. So I mean, I guess I'm willing to play a bull break. I'm willing to play an hourly bull break on this name. So we're gonna keep an eye on that one as well. Damn it! What happened to the MU name? MP, sorry, up 9% now. Ugh. All right. Do we have any more? 8:47. Running out of time real fast. Hey, Dick's at the 200 day is interesting, but I just think this trade sideways. SLB, Hood, Entra had another big day yesterday. Ugh, this fucking stock. Ford. OKLO gapping up 7%. So OKLO is another one of those names that are having a big day here. This one's a little bit different, as I do not even want to think about going long until it could hold over this level here. So you break, you hold, you gap up. You don't like that. You gap down. Earnings, we talked about this yesterday. Earnings screwed it up here. So yeah, I would need to be over this level to even think long. So I'm going to put an alarm here. But yeah, it's not ideal. Netflix, you know, and Netflix was one that I was really looking at yesterday too. I wonder if it had a nice little 5 minute high or low off of that level here, or a 15 minute. Yeah, it was gross. It was gross. So it ended up EQing if you're patient, which I never am in this spot. So you have the high, higher low, lower high. There's your bottom fish. And then there you go. The spread wasn't bad either. So yeah, I mean, the big wick down, 15-minute is gross as well. I'm sure the 5-minute using the EMA 12 was gross as well. Like, problem is, if I'm using the 5-minute EMA 12, like, there's a chance you have to be right on it here because I'm probably getting it in. I'd like to get in somewhere here off the ricochet, but probably getting like right there, and then you stop so wide. Don't feel comfortable. But if you get in there, you get the higher high. Maybe you get out of the trade right there. Boom. Z-scalar still growing, going down. Who cares about? Oh, who cares about text? Get rid of these fucking names. We already talked about that. BM and R again. The spread on this stock is terrible. D-Dog was a bear yesterday. Didn't really do much though. Rivian, BA with a bear break here, and a doji. Man, this thing is gross. Okay, that's gonna be it. All right, well, it's 8:51. It's gonna do it for me, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.